So James Harden is the talk of the league right now, with him requesting a trade over a month ago and him starting a lot of problems, from him missing training camp to go party with Lil Baby and him apparently throwing the ball at their rookie Deshaun Tate. So it's clear James wants out, and with many teams falling out of the race, it's beginning to look less likely he will get traded every day. But I think there's a team that many people have forgotten about, and that is the Toronto Raptors. So in today's video, I'll be discussing what a James Harden to Toronto trade would look like and more. So please like this video to help my channel grow. It only takes 1 second of your time. Subscribe to my channel to help me reach 550 subscribers before the end of 2020, and comment on this video to start a conversation with me because I respond to all comments. And play that intro. I know you might be thinking of reasons to why Harden won't go to Toronto, which is the fact that Harden doesn't want to go there, and the fact that there have been few reports about Houston and Toronto discussing a trade. And if you believe that Toronto has no chance to get Harden, you obviously have forgotten about this guy.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
Don't forget how Toronto surprisingly got Kawhi Leonard from the Spurs, when for months people expected him to go to teams like the Celtics, Lakers, or 76ers, but Toronto came out of nowhere and took him. And even though many said Kawhi didn't want to come, he ended up sucking it up, and they ended up winning a championship. And you have to be lying if you're telling me you don't see the similarities between the Kawhi situation and the James Harden situation. So Toronto's front office clearly has shown the ability and impulsive nature to attempt big moves like this. I believe if Toronto was able to acquire James Harden, they would put him around very solid players and give him a team that is capable of going on a deep playoff run. And I believe this because of how good Toronto's general manager, Masai Ujiri, is. It's clear to me that in a hypothetical trade, Toronto would have enough young players and assets to get the deal done. And the trade I see happening is Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, and 2 future first-round picks to Houston in exchange for James Harden to the Toronto Raptors. And I think this is as good of a return Houston can get for Harden, because it's clear Philadelphia is not willing to give up Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. And the only trade that rivals this one is possibly them getting Michael Porter Jr. from Denver. But in this move, Houston would be getting Pascal Siakam, a proven all-star, and a player who can be the best player on a really good team, as he proved last season, averaging 24 points on the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. Although Pascal shouldn't be considered a young player anymore, with him being 26, he has improved every season of his career significantly, from him being a player who doesn't play in his first season to a solid energy guy in his 2nd season to being the most improved player and a second option on a championship team in his 3rd season to him last year in his 4th season being an all-star and a top 20 player in the regular season. So every of his career, he has significantly improved, and I believe the next step he will take is to having his regular season production translate to the playoffs. And I wouldn't even be surprised if he took that next step to becoming a superstar. Houston would also be getting OG Anunoby, who I believe is one of the most underrated defenders in the league. And if you look at what level of player OG is right now, he is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, and on offense, he gives you someone with floor spacing and can go off the dribble to the basket. So clearly, OG as of right now is a very good role player, but he is only 23 years old, and it looks like he can improve. I think OG's ceiling is an all-star, but I don't know if I'm willing to go that far to say that he'll reach it, but I see him being a guy who can average 15 to 17 points per game while being one of the better defenders in the whole league, who can switch on many positions. Houston will also be getting 2 first-rounders, which they could use to get more young players. I feel like Houston is a team that would rather retool than rebuild, and doing this move would keep them as a playoff contender. I feel depending on how good John Wall and Cousins returns, they might even be better than they were last season. So obviously if James Harden was moved to Toronto, one of the biggest questions would be whether Harden would change his play style on this team. And I think if there was a team to change how Harden plays, it's Toronto, because their coach is Nick Nurse, who is a coach capable of making an offensive scheme good enough to please Harden as well as the rest of the team. Even with Toronto losing some of their best players, they still have a solid squad, because Kyle Lowry is still an all-star level player who I think could fit similar to how Chris Paul fit alongside Harden. And they also have Fred VanVleet, who on this team would be one of the better backup point guards in the league, since he provides such good shooting, ball handling, and playmaking. And they would also have Norman Powell, one of the most underrated players in the league, who is a player really good at attacking the rim and is a capable shooter, as he shot 39% from 3 and he averaged 16 points last season efficiently, so he can definitely score. The Raptors would also have way more shooters like Aaron Baines, Terrence Davis, Matt Thomas, and Malachi Flynn. This team has enough shooting and other ball handlers besides Harden on the team, and I also think they could be a top 10 defense due to their coach being Nurse, who I think can make a good defensive scheme that could hide Harden along with the other players all being good on that side of the floor. Although I think Harden would make them better, I doubt this move makes them title contenders. And that is because I don't think this supporting cast is nearly as good as the one that was alongside Kawhi, because they would be missing Siakam, Gasol, and Ibaka. I think this move could possibly make Toronto a top 3 team in the East, because they would have the 3rd best player in the conference. And I think this move would put them over Boston and Philadelphia and maybe even Miami. But I would view the Bucks and the Nets on just another level, and I doubt they could defeat them. I think their ceiling would be the conference finals, but if I was being honest, I would expect a 2nd round loss. I don't think this move would be a good move for Harden's career, because he doesn't need to be on a good team. He needs to be on a great team that could win the championship. Not to mention that this is a huge risk for Toronto, because seeing how James is acting in Houston leaves a chance that he might do the same in Toronto if he doesn't want to be there. And if I was Toronto, I wouldn't make this move and I would just stick to my current roster. But on the other hand, if I'm Houston, I would take this package unless I can get Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons from Philly. Although I don't think Toronto should make this move, I and a lot of other people believe that they shouldn't have made the Kawhi to Toronto move, and they ended up winning the championship. So you never know, but a deal between the 2 teams is a real possibility, and if it happens, I'm just here to say that I called it. Anyways guys, that's it for the video. Let me know what you think of James Harden going to Toronto. Please like this video because it helps a lot and only takes a second of your time. Subscribe to my channel to help me reach 575 subscribers before the end of 2020. And comment on this video to start a conversation because I respond to all comments. And I'm out.